Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gemma and I'm coming to you as always from my home in Devon where I live with my family. So a little bit of a different video for you this time. This is a very special vlog. I've mentioned this on the channel before, but I actually am a representative for Search Press Books. My job is to look after all the retailers in the southwest of England. It's a marvellous job. It means I get to travel around the country, or this little corner of the country, meeting the most fabulous people, a range of arts, crafts, bookshops, stationers, museums, galleries, and of course yarn and fabric stores. So last week I went on a bit of a big jaunt. I'm trying to make the most of the summer holidays to meet as many of my clients as possible, and I decided to vlog it. So I'm inviting you this week to join me on a magical mystery tour where we start in Somerset, head off up to Bristol via Glastonbury. That was an experience. From there it was Bath, and we finish up in Wiltshire for the most fantastic convivial evening of making and laughter and a little bit of Prosecco at Pins and Needles for their Italian night. So if that sounds like fun, why don't you settle in, grab a project and join me and allow me to show you some of the most wonderful places. My journey started off quite early, 8 o'clock in the morning, and the drive was beautiful. Not quite my favourite drive, it has to be admitted. I do love driving across Dartmoor, but nevertheless. My first stop was Martock in Somerset, and to visit Yandles. Holly is the new manager there. She's been in place for a couple of months. She's fantastic. She's got history in film, fashion, and all sorts of exciting things like that. Yandles is a very unique place. It is it has an arts and crafts store, which is who I deal with. It also has this amazing artisan gift shop. I was kindly given permission by the proprietor to take some film in there to share with you. It is full of artisanal work. It's so unique. I've not seen anything like it. It is so unique and always an absolute pleasure to visit. They have an incredible amount of stock, but have merchandised it very cleverly so that the eye follows around the room and it is not overwhelming. The site also has a timber yard and a lovely little cafe, and of course the arts and crafts store, which is who I was there for. They have everything from fabric to yarn to watercolours to gouache to sketching pencils, and it is a veritable den of inspiration. As ever, I couldn't come away without a little ball of sock yarn. While there, I was shown the joys of an overlocker and an air machine. It puffs air to thread it all, which was just incredible to me. My next stop was Dicketts, the art shop in Glastonbury. It was my first visit to Glastonbury and nothing could have prepared me for what I discovered. A town absolutely jam-packed with independent artisanal stores, alternative therapies, crystals, incense, massage, featured heavily in the shop fronts and the little courtyards that I found myself wandering down. It was an absolute delight seeing the architecture and all these busy little shops nestled up against each other. Dicketts itself, I didn't get any footage of the inside, but it is beautiful. It's got 2 areas full of inspiration, books, art supplies. It's just lovely, and the proprietors have been there for 21 years and are so warm and welcoming. It's an absolute delight to visit them, and I'm really excited to go back again. After Glastonbury, it was time for me to head up to Bristol to meet with Meg of No Frills. I've been following Meg's journey since she first started talking about opening a bricks and mortars shop and was so excited to finally have the opportunity to go. I love what Meg does. She made time for me with her beautiful little baby who is coming up sort of 7 months old now, 8 months old. And we had spent a very happy hour chatting books and yarn shops. Rather excitingly, this will be my first and last visit to No Frills in its current iteration, because Meg has just shared that she is opening a bigger store just around the corner from where she is now.
Meg focuses on natural fibres and has brands from Starcraft all the way through to Suddenless Garn and Knitting for Olive. I was particularly thrilled with some naturally dyed yarns that I picked up when I visited.
From No Frills, it was time to head across to Bath. And on my way, I stopped at Fabrics Plus, which is incredible. And I know several friends who would absolutely love it. What really surprised me was how bright and airy the room was. It's notoriously difficult to get good lighting in shops. And this fabric shop was really well lit and well organised. I then ended up in Bath. Now, Bath is somewhere I have wanted to go ever since I first heard about it, and I've never quite managed to make it happen. So the fact that I legitimately get to go there for work is very exciting indeed. My official stop was for the museum. I haven't managed to make contact with anyone there yet, so I was just going to pop in and introduce myself. However, I knew that wool was in Bath, and again, it's another shop I've wanted to visit for quite some time. As I was popping in unannounced just to introduce myself, I had no expectations of meeting Laura, which is just as well because she wasn't in that day, and actually was able to just relax and indulge myself in a yarn shop visit. It was so lovely to wander around this welcoming shop, to be drawn into the conversation of the staff members working there and with other customers as well, and I came away feeling very inspired indeed. One of the people working there had a really gorgeous knitted bow in their hair, and they very kindly shared with me the pattern was Augustine 22. So I came away with my very own ball of Yorkshire yarn to make Christmas bows for the little girls in my life, and I'm very, very excited. I'm slightly nervous to try this pattern, but I'm very excited to try this pattern too, and I'll show you that yarn shortly. Now, by the time I had left wool, having spent more time than I'd intended, but nevertheless thoroughly enjoyed it, I was too late for the museum, which was fine, and I treated myself instead to a wander around beautiful Bath. I was utterly lost for words when wandering around and cannot wait to go back again. The whole city seemed to glow with the beautiful sandstone that they've used to build for their buildings. The architecture is stunning. There's a delightful range of independent and artisan shops. It's quite easy to get lost in this city, I feel, and its peculiar arrangements of very tall buildings, relatively narrow streets, and quiet little alleyways and courtyards, but none of it feels claustrophobic at all. I don't know if that's the colour of the buildings or just the general ambience of the city, but I had the most marvellous wander around. From Bath, it was off to Wiltshire. I'd spent rather longer than I'd intended wandering around the city, but I had a very important date at Pins and Needles in Devizes. It's run by a lady called Victoria. She's great on social media. I felt like I'd gotten to know her before I'd even been there. And so when I saw she was hosting an Italian night, I booked a ticket as a regular human being, I might add. Although she did email me and say, "Are you the search press, Gemma Mills?" I was like, "Yes, guilty as charged, but I'm just coming as a normal human. Please don't worry. I'm last thing you want when you're organising an event is a rep showing up for the middle of it." And she said to me, "Come as a rep, come as yourself, come however you like." So I rocked up at the appointed time, and the little shop was absolutely crammed with people. It was a ticketed event, but it had been so well attended. She's got a fantastic local following, loyal supporters and who clearly treasure their yarn shop, as they should. Victoria was so welcoming, very kindly allowed me to use their conveniences and let me dash off and buy some chips so I could have something in way of dinner before accepting the glass of proffered Prosecco. Ordinarily, I wouldn't have indulged. However, I knew I was going to be here for a few hours and relaxing in the company of fellow makers and squishing beautiful yarn. So I did allow myself a small glass. I found Victoria's shop just as inspiring in real life as I'd anticipated by following it online. She has created a veritable treasure trove of delights, almost floor to ceiling. Everywhere you look, other bright colours, jewel tones, inspiration peep out at you. Some absolute favourites were there, including Bahram U, West Yorkshire Spinners, some gorgeous hand-dyed, and John Arben, which I had never seen in real life and had the opportunity to stroke before. The evening was absolutely wonderful. The regulars were so welcoming and I fell into conversation easily, and I sat there looking up at the evening sky as the sun was starting to set, knitting on my sock and just feeling so relaxed and happy. It's amazing what a yarn shop can do. So as I've alluded to, I did not come away from these shops empty-handed. I have a terrible habit of supporting the shops that I rep for, and at least on my first visit often come away with a goodie or two. I'm very much trying not to do that because otherwise it completely defeats the object of me trying to earn some extra money by freelancing for Search Press, but there we are. That's a bit of real talk for you. I haven't brought down the sock yarn with me, but I should put a picture of it here for you. And this was my purchase from Yandles. They have a great range of sock yarns and I'm enjoying trying different yarn bases from them. In No Frills, Meg and I spent the entirety of my allotted time chatting, catching up over yarny things, talking books, customers, the joys, trials and tribulations of running a yarn shop, and just having the most wonderful time. And I realised that I had barely any time to look around the shop itself, much less to make any purchases. However, my new granny square blanket was top in my mind, and so I thought minis would be just the ticket for my little souvenir. And so I picked up 2 minis from Wool Matters Natural Dye Works, naturally dyed with plant colour on non-superwash and plastic-free fibres, created with minimal impact in harmony with the earth and the community. And the yarn I bought is Corriedale Sock Twist, 100% Corriedale from South America. It's 20 grams, 80 meters, bundle dyed, and I bought Seashore and Pink Love. Now these might both make it into my granny square blanket. Although this one might be diverted to my husband's, we'll see. I do have pink tones, green tones, sorry, in mine as well, so we'll see where that one ends up. Although I did let Robin choose the next colour for my blanket, and we've definitely gone neon. So there we are. And when Meg is settled into her new premises in the middle of September, about October time, I'm going to go up and see her again in situ and visit the shop. I'm really excited about that. So I'll do another little vlog for you there and spend a lot more time showing you around No Frills Mark II. In Fabrics Plus, as I've mentioned, I did manage to come away without purchasing anything. However, I have mentally taken photographs of several fabrics, and if my pyjamas work out, they're fabrics that I haven't seen at any of the other fabric shops so far. So if I did visit them again, I might pick something up. But from wool, I knew I wanted a souvenir mini, and I've never used this before. Look at this, it's so sweet. It's an opal mini, the size that used to come in their advent calendars, I think. It's 4-ply, it's sock yarn, so 75% wool, 25% polyamide, and I'm trying to see the actual details here. 42 meters for 10 grams. That is definitely going in my husband's kind of moody blues, greens blanket. Having purchased that and stood at the till chatting to the person who'd served me, I looked over her shoulder because I'm terrible. I didn't really used to have this in the shop because the way we had the till organised, there was nothing really behind or immediately to the side. So actually when people were at the till, we were fully engaged. But I'm discovering that at a lot of shops that I'm visiting, there are just delights everywhere, and I will be talking to the proprietor, but looking in lots of other directions while holding a full conversation with them and listening to what they're saying. But my eyes are just drawn to all the goodies. And I suddenly spotted, having paid for my little opal ball of yarn, this. Isn't it gorgeous? This is dye bath yarns. Ooh, dye bath yarns, which is dyed by Laura, and this is the Fjord colourway. It's 85 meters to 20 grams. It's a deli sock mini. Doesn't say any more details about it, but it looks like a high twist sock yarn. So I would say high twist 75-25. Doesn't really matter. It's going in my blanket. Again, I'm hoping I would quite like this in my one, but I've got a feeling it will go better in my husband's one. And the other thing I spotted, which I was resisting, was brand new Yorkshire Yarns Gargrave Tweed. Yorkshire Yarns is a fairly new kid on the block. It's beautiful. They've got 3 main colourways so far. This gorgeous burgundy wine red, a mustardy yellow, and a beautiful blue. Now this was the yarn I was talking to you about when I spotted the gorgeous headband, the bow, that one of the people wearing in their hair, and when I knew I wanted to make it, I thought it was the perfect excuse to pick up a ball of this. I just think that's going to make the most beautiful Christmassy bows, and it's kind of Regency-esque as well, a little bit Austen-y maybe, which seemed perfectly fitting for Bath, and especially for some of the little girls in my life. My goddaughter in particular, her mummy is an English teacher, and I think this is just good. I might have to make her one as well. I might have to make mummy one as well as daughter. So I only got the one ball. This is called Swinton. It's 50 grams, 155 meters of 4-ply yarn. 100% pure wool spun in Yorkshire, and the colour is just, it's coming up pretty true to life, to be honest with you. This evening light again, it's definitely the way forward. So there we are. Wasn't the cheapest yarn, definitely worth it. And finally, at Pins and Needles, I actually had intended to buy this, but Victoria gave it to me as a, I don't know, just as a really lovely present. It's Exmoor Sock, which is John Arbon. I had quite been interested in their, oh, what's it called? I can't think what the yarn's called now, but this colour called to me and it was something that I could definitely use. And obviously I've still got this working from stash thing in mind, so I wanted to buy something that I could use for me, 4 socks, and 50 grams is all I need with my ridiculous little feet, in a nice colour that I could maybe do a pattern with. So that's what this is going to be. So Exmoor Sock is Exmoor sheep as a durable machine washable yarn in an array of North Devon inspired shades. This is 60% Exmoor Blueface, 20% Corriedale, 10% Zortballs, Warbles? I don't know how to pronounce that. If anyone does, can you like pop it phonetically down in the comments for me? And 10% nylon. 200 meters per 50 grams skein, and it's called Dimity. And there we are. It's a teal that speaks to my heart. Have I got it upside down? There we go. It's a teal that really speaks to my heart. That rich jewel tone is just stunning. I had the most wonderful time at Pins and Needles and cannot thank Victoria enough for the warm welcome, and it was so lovely. The day in general was an absolute joy. For context, I set off at 7:30 in the morning and I arrived home at 11:30 at night. It was a very long day, about 9-ish hours of driving altogether, but wow did it fill my cup. And I hope that you have enjoyed this tour of these yarn shops with me as well, and I will see you very, very soon for another video. Take care. Bye.